The 90s teen slasher phase is certainly up and running.
Okay, listen up, guys. Because this is how the story really goes.
Hi guys, my name's Barry and welcome back to the channel. First we had Scream getting a revival, then we got I Know What You Did Last Summer. We've even got the Final Destination franchise, even though that technically isn't a 90s teen slasher. It came out in 2000, but you can get the sentiment. And now we have Urban Legend. It was only a matter of time before Urban Legend was finally greenlit. Yes, of course, a few years ago, around about 2020, 2021, Urban Legend actually did get a green light, and I think due to COVID and just abandoning the project, they decided not to go ahead with it. But because of the success of Scream, and we've got the Final Destination franchise back up and running, and of course, I Know What You Did Last Summer is coming out in July, they've decided, let's greenlight Urban Legend. Now, there wasn't a lot of information, if any, the first time Urban Legend was greenlit. It was to follow a new group of people that were getting targeted by a mysterious killer, and Rebecca Gayheart was supposed to reprise her role as Brenda, but we didn't know to what extent she was going to do that. But again, the project was completely scrapped, so we didn't know anything else about it apart from that. Fast forward to now, we still don't know anything about it because it's just been greenlit, but it will be interesting to see where they're going to go with it. But I don't think we will get any information whatsoever about it until after I Know What You Did Last Summer. And the reason for that is because the quality of Urban Legend was very similar to I Know What You Did Last Summer. So I think it all really depends on the box office with I Know What You Did Last Summer and the type of movie that they're going to give us. That might then make them decide, well, this is where we're going to go with I Know What You Did Last Summer. And the other thing is, they're both from the same studio, so it obviously depends on how successful I Know What You Did Last Summer is before they start putting more money into another revival for a 90s teen slasher movie. I'm sure you know the story, but I'll mention it again anyway. There was an article a few years ago, some time ago, that people were asking Jared Leto about his time making movies, and then they asked him about Urban Legend, and he's like, what movie's that? And he's like, Urban Legend, the movie you starred in? And he's like, I don't remember making that movie. I don't even know what that movie is. That's quite funny. I don't know if he was being serious or he just thought, that's a bad film, and I'm just basically saying I don't like the movie and I don't want to be part of it. But now I think it's got a bit of a charm to it. I always loved Urban Legend, so it would be interesting to see them go back to it now and even go back to the actors that starred in the movie now and say, what do you think of it now? Michael Rosenbaum is an actor that always goes back to Urban Legend with great fondness. He doesn't talk down on Urban Legend, but he always calls it, I done a little movie called Urban Legend. I don't know if you know about it. And he shouldn't do that. I think he should go, do you know what? I'm proud of Urban Legend. It's one of the bigger 90s teen slasher movies out there, if not one of the biggest 90s teen slasher movies out there. So he should be proud of it, unlike someone like Jared Leto. But the problem with that is Jared Leto and Alicia Witt's characters survived the events of Urban Legend, so they could potentially be in the next movie. I don't think Jared Leto will be in it, but there is a chance that Alicia Witt will return because she survived and she's back doing horror movies again. She was in Longlegs last year, so she's up and coming again when it comes to the horror franchise. So it would be good to see her reprise her role as Natalie in the next Urban Legend movie. I know that Rebecca Gayheart was supposed to reprise her role as Brenda in the cancelled Urban Legend movie, so it would be interesting to find out if Rebecca Gayheart is going to come back as well. Obviously, timing will be sensitive for Rebecca Gayheart. If you don't know, unfortunately, her husband Eric Dane has been diagnosed with ALS, so we don't know how much time he has, especially in the fit condition that he's in at the moment. So if she's not in the movie, it's completely understandable, but obviously I think everyone would love to see her back as Brenda. People were talking about this online. They were saying that what kind of urban legends would they use for this new digital age, because that's what they said in the article. It's going to be urban legend for the digital age, and it's probably going to be some sort of pranks and stuff that they do to people online, some legends that they talk about online. One thing that they won't be doing is rehashing old ones. I think if they're going to rehash old urban legends from the previous films, it's probably going to be the backseat killer, because that was an iconic moment, an iconic opening for any horror movie. So if they're going to rehash any of them, it'll probably be that one. But in terms of new urban legends, because I'm a little bit older now, I don't know what type of legends that they'll use. There's ones called, is it Mary Momo or something like that? Those types of urban legends that the kids talk about today are probably going to be the ones that get used. But if that's the case, I don't know if this movie will be targeted for someone my age. Now, that's the only problem. Now, you would think they would try and target people of my age because we loved urban legends back in the day, but we don't make up the whole box office. We only make up less than half of the box office, so they're going to have to try and cater for people like us and the younger audience as well. Regardless of how the younger audience reacts to it, that's just the facts. They're going to try and cater for everyone, but I fear that the dialogue, the legends that they use might not be to my liking. Some people say that Urban Legend isn't a big film, and it actually is a big film. I think it had a production budget of about $14 million, and the movie made $72 million at the worldwide box office. I think the most surprising part about the $72 million is $34 million of that came from overseas, and the rest of it was domestic. So almost half of the money came from outside of the US, which was absolutely strange because it was kind of unheard of for a teen slasher movie back in the late 90s, especially one that nobody really knew about. When you look at Scream, obviously had Wes Craven behind it. When you look at I Know What You Did Last Summer, it had a big cast, as well as being a book before it became a movie. Urban Legend didn't really come from anywhere apart from running on the coattails of the success of the teen slasher movies of back in the late 90s. It's the only thing that it had going for it. So the fact that it made $72 million means people wanted to see it. One quick thing before we go, guys, for those of you who already know this, I was going to do a fan film called Inside the House, and it was going to be a semi-prequel / sequel to Urban Legend, just a fan film that me and my family were going to make. I've got the costume for Brenda. It was a fantastic costume. I even wore it at Halloween one time, but I scrapped it because I just didn't have time. My job changed it around a bit, so I kind of had to scrap it. But I'm glad now that Urban Legend has finally been greenlit, so I don't have to do the fan film that was probably going to be bad anyway. So what are your thoughts on that, guys? What are your thoughts on finally getting Urban Legend greenlit again? As always, leave your comments and opinions down below. Let me know what you think, and I'll talk to you soon.
Someone's in the back seat! I'll be right back.
What are you waiting for, huh?
Coming to get you, Barbara.
Ever played in the cat?
Someone's in the back seat! Tell me where you are, John!
Wolfman's gone